what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more.
Hello there, welcome to the Flash and Blow podcast. I'm Siobhan. If the stack is high against you and the hammer's coming down, and the time that's yours lies heavy in your hands. Let's meet the plucky girl assistants. We have the Brian.
Hello.
Who, you'll be pleased to know, we've sorted all this out beforehand. He's definitely American this evening.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we have the creature from another dimension, or Florida. It's Lilibet the Wonder Girl.
He is here.
Avec le chat.
Yes, to give her opinions.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, you will see an extra square with a cat's eye looking out at you. At least I think it's a cat's eye. If you turn your head that way, it looks like a cat's bum that's had a problem.
Or it could look like a fish.
I don't know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the original plucky girl assistant? 1, 2, 3, Joe!
Go!
Yep, that's a time delay.
Hello.
Joe,
And it's
welcome
a cat.
back.
Thank you. Hello.
Oh, man. Do you know, it'll be 15 years since we started The Blade.
100 years ago. 100 years ago, yes.
Yeah, 15 years. I mean, probably round about tomorrow-ish.
Wow.
I know. Adam reminded me today. So, hello, Retta. So I'm looking at... We've got chat, live chat. People can... Whatever.
Oh, hello, Pete.
Quick disclaimers to start with. My internet's playing up this evening, and I haven't fixed the Discord problem, which means every now and again I'm going to crash. My Discord will crash. We'll still be streaming. You'll just have to put up with just me solo for about a minute whilst I get Discord back up and running again. So I'm sorry, I can't work out how to do that. Shut up, Brian. Now then, anybody help me, please, Joe, work out what I'm doing with the song lyrics yet?
It's familiar, but yeah. Oh, yeah. The Ultravox song? I don't know.
Sorry,
it's
was that a what? Was that a what?
Was it an Ultravox song?
Yes, it was.
I can't remember what one it is.
That was one.
Oh, I remember. I know this one.
Oh, God. Yes?
It was the soundtrack to 1984 with John Hurt.
I'm going to cry. Oh, yes, we can play the game, can't we? We can play the game of
Yes,
how many
I'm
times am
starting
I
the
going
game.
to crash out during the broadcast tonight?
It's either that or we do a drinking game to it.
Oh, I've got a drink here. I've got to be on the floor.
Joe, we were so cruel to Brian back in the day. We were watching The Prisoner, and we got up to the last episode, and I said, tell you what, we'll do a drinking game, Brian. Every time somebody says "I," you take a drink.
Uh-oh.
Bastards tried to kill me.
Oh, Brian.
He got tiddly. It was fun.
I ran out of alcohol.
Did you have to go get more?
And she's frozen. We have one
Well,
interruption.
No, I haven't frozen. That was not a proper generic freeze because it didn't go through to it didn't go through to the stream. I don't know if it's your end or my end. It's a little bit crinkly crackly because you're under a heat dome at the moment, and in fact you're also in a mild to moderate severe weather warning, storm warning.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that'll mean you sleep okay.
Yeah.
You slept through a bloody tornado.
No, I did not. They had a tornado warning pop up on my phone. I
That
rolled
means
over
there's
and went back.
something there. A watch is just keep an eye open. A warning means, yes, there's something fucking rotating.
It wasn't in my parking lot. I fell back asleep.
Do you know how tiring it is trying to care for you? Now you're frozen. So, we'll do the usual. Shut up. Joe, how's your fortnight been?
It's been a time in the calendar. Days have passed. Time has passed.
It wasn't very strong,
Yeah,
sadly.
nothing exciting. Dogs.
Too weak.
Because we've got 2 dogs, and so time spent up with them. And one of them looks like they've got like an allergy, so it's giving them tablets and stuff. So yeah, nothing exciting. Nothing exciting. They're fine. They're fine. Keep us busy, make us laugh, cause trouble.
Lilibet, can you prove you exist, please, just for Retta?
Oh, I definitely exist. Rosie says so.
In
In fact, I think it might be Rosie's eye in the art.
Either that,
it
or
is,
like
but
we
it's-
say, it's a cat's bum or something with...
It's a cat eye. I drew it. Oh.
Yes, I've seen that picture of yours. Art has come along and it's astounding. It's so good.
Thank you. Thank you. But
It's
yeah,
astounding. Time is
Oh.
fleeting.
I knew he'd go there. I knew
Madness.
he cannot miss
Takes
the
a
obvious
toll.
thing. Finished?
that
Have
went
we?
great.
Well, listen closely.
No, obviously not, Kim.
I'm
Not for
just
very
waiting.
much longer.
We've got to keep control.
I'm going to cry.
Oh dear.
A little bit. How was your fortnight?
Good. I went out, saw my folks for Father's Day, and spent the weekend with them, which was really nice. And then, as I said, brought my nephew James down for a visit for a week. So got to do the
How old is
things.
he?
He's 13. He'll be 14 in August.
Just about big enough not to be too much trouble.
Oh yeah, no, he's no trouble at all. In fact, he's quite mellow. So he'll just be like, I'm gonna go play some video games now. See you later. And off he goes. But I took him to the drive-in movie to see Inside Out 2, which was really good and a lot of fun. And around the market, Matt was here for a bit, my brother, so we went to the used bookstore and the new bookstore, which are a block apart. And Matt bought his...
One's in the
Star Trek
rundown
album.
area. The other one's brand new.
No, they're actually both really nice, but totally different vibes.
You completely missed the joke.
I have a question.
No.
Yes.
Did you show him old rated R 80s horror movies just to scare him?
I did not, however, I did show him Sharktopus versus Whale Wolf
Oh, that's a classic.
for Dave.
I
Aw.
approve. That's a classic.
Dave, still destroying a generation, one mind
Yes,
at a time.
Because I mean, yes, it's full of people getting eaten by creatures, but none of that's realistic.
Yeah.
It's all
I don't like-
CGI is not.
I like gore, but I can when we watched Sharktopus for Dave that time, it was I'd seen it once before and I thought, oh yeah, and it was just a lot of fun and it was just really special. But I don't do gore really. I don't do gore. And there's lots
I
of
don't
things I'd love to watch, but like The Boys, I can't watch that. And there's other things which I think, oh, that sounds really good, but the gore puts me off. And it's not like I'm not anti-gore, if people, I just don't like. I just can't.
I
watch
don't
it.
do body horror.
She voted Bush.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't. So there's a lot I don't watch because it's just not my jam. More power to you if it is,
Exactly.
But yeah, he had a lot of fun. And then we watched Doctor Who together, which we'll get to later, but he hadn't watched much of the classic series. So we watched part 1 of the finale, and then I was like, do you know who that character is? And he said no, and I was like, okay. And I went to the DVD shelf.
Oh, it's nice.
You infected him with Pyramids of Mars.
I did indeed.
You brought
Excellent.
Sutek's gift of obsession.
Well, and then I told him, I made him look for the hand scene, and he was like, what? So I rewinded it.
Ha!
Yeah,
yeah,
he didn't say
I'll
that to
be
me.
moaning
Why-
about that.
And then he proceeded for the rest of the week to say the hand of Sutek.
It was Clara's
Nice.
hand. We all know that. Except it's not there anymore.
This is what I hear.
We'll come on to this. Firstly, we need to say hello to our bots.
Oh yes.
Yep,
The
Trap
bots
Snap's
must
still
be.
there. Now, according to this, I've got 4 viewers.
We have more bots than normal. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, but we've actually only got 2 alive people that I can see. If you're alive and you're there in chat, could you just say hello? We know you are, Retta. I give up. I don't understand this at all. This whole Twitch live thing. You probably noticed, Joe, that... Do you remember when I used to have standards way back in the day? And I'd edit things into perfect little bundle. Yeah, no. That's not happening.
It's just complicated, isn't it, really?
I'm too old. I don't care. Oh, it's gone down to 2 viewers now. See, this is what happens when you mention things. What was your fortnight like, Brian? Oh, you're in love, aren't you?
I am very happy.
Oh, that's nice.
What about the
But
ever
Brian
six
is
dwarfs?
smiling often.
Righty-ho. And have you got the puncher repair kit out yet?
No, I don't need that. I need a soldering iron and some micro tools.
This was Adam's gag, you see. Seeing as I've not actually met this young lady, I'm assuming it's a lady. That's the normal person you go for. It's fine if you haven't, but I don't know if she exists. So
You're the only one that hasn't met her.
yeah, suspicious, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not right.
I
It is
am not going to
interview.
be domesticated. I am going to be happily,
Yeah, you
like a
think that.
cat walking around saying,
Yeah, having
"You
your bits
pet
done.
me, and now I have to go kill something."
Retta has
Do they
just
like
said.
Doctor Who?
Go on, Joe.
I was saying, do they like Doctor Who?
Yes, they love it. Though they
Nice.
haven't seen this season yet.
Yeah.
We're going to come on to that. Don't worry.
So if she is watching, if she's managed to get home in time, Lynn, we're gonna have spoilers, so be very
What's her
careful
username?
here.
What's her username?
I don't know,
Oh, that doesn't
And-
help.
and I'm not telling you. We will be having spoilers
I don't think she's
and
there.
other things.
There will be a
so-
spoiler warning given, to be fair.
Yeah.
Talking on the phone to my sister about the episode, and she was on speaker because we were singing Happy Birthday to my dad just before that. And we were talking about the episode, and Mom is in the background. And I said to my sister, Mom hasn't seen it yet because we watched the first 2 of the new season together and on Father's Day, and then Boom was coming, and I thought, not a Father's Day episode.
So
So
it's Boom
anyway,
tomorrow. Okay.
yes, we didn't get to that one. So she hasn't seen any of those yet, and I told her she has to watch them in order. So my sister's talking about things, and I was like, well, Mom hasn't heard it yet. And she said, don't worry about spoilers. She won't remember anything I just said anyway.
I'm getting to that part in my life now. I can watch films and go, I'm great value with films now.
What is Polagara?
Nothing you need to remember.
Oh. Oh. It's a Brian story, obviously.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it
It's
must
not
be.
a story.
So it's not a Brian story, it's a Brian truth, and we know you have difficulty with fact and fiction. We know this.
Hey, I was all for the Blair Witch blending.
You
reality.
thought it was real. You thought the Blair
So
Witch
did
Project was real.
50,000 other people in America at the time.
What
because it
does
was
this
the
tell
first.
us?
And it had an excellent viral marketing campaign.
It did have a very good viral marketing campaign.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
But I'm afraid we don't care. You still thought that the Blair Witch experiment was real.
I'm fine with that.
I'm just saying. It's all right. Retta took great pleasure in telling us. Was it Retta or Jess who told us about that?
Oh, it was Retta.
Okay.
There's only one person on the earth that would
Oh.
gain an embarrassment as much as humanly possible, and that would be Retta.
I've role played with her. I know.
This is why we have friends.
Yes.
My void has arrived. I'm sure I ordered one. Hello, Chestnut.
Liking your work.
Oh dear.
You
If
have.
you notice, I'm just hitting the pause button on your feed there, Auntie. So
Oh, is that what's going on?
I've no idea. I don't know what's going on. I never do nowadays. I come here and hope. That's it. Nothing planned. T
I
minus.
mean, you know,
T minus.
I could just do this.
T minus. Yeah, it'll shut you up. T minus 1 week and counting. Beep. You were too quiet for your mic to pick up. I'm sorry.
For the new car?
Yes. 1 week to go before I get my new car.
Now this one is Ernie 2.
No, it's Venus with a
Electric
V.
Boogaloo?
Venus. I've got Fireball Jr. This is Venus. Prepare to accept Fireball Jr.
Really? Do you
Venus.
want to name it after a bad disco song from the 70s?
Well, first of all, I'd go up a decade and have the Bananarama version,
Okay.
which is
all right.
actually really good. But
That's a lie.
I'd say it's infectious. To try and
Just remember the opening line: "Goddess on a mountain top. Be careful." Why were we talking about
The
Bananarama?
Because
car?
you named your car
Venus. Yes. No, it's after Fireball Jr. Sorry, after Fireball XL5. It just made
Okay.
sense. That was all. But yes, coming in dazzling dull grey, or Count Binface grey, as I call it. But beggars can't be choosers. It's going to be a lovely car. I'm just sad at the same time that I'm losing Ernie. She was the fastest milk float in the West.
So you are getting Ernie 2 Electric Boogaloo.
The Electric Boogaloo works in this case, but it's Venus.
I know. That's
Venus.
why I said it. Yeah.
Venus. I'm not having Ernie 2. Venus. You've got to
Uh-huh.
differentiate your cars. Give them their own sense of identity. You give me the look again, Brian. So's a little bit.
I'm okay.
Are you sure?
I'm fine. No.
Okay.
No,
Good,
not
good,
at all.
good, good. The first thing I told Karen from Staggering Stories about what I was going to name the car. She says, "You can't call a car penis."
It's 2024. I mean, yes, maybe.
Oh, that's what the big trucks are substitutes for.
Mm-hmm.
So next show there'll be photos.
of not what you just mentioned.
No,
But, yeah,
God, no.
It's just the timing. It was just the timing. Siobhan.
I am so happy you're here, Joe.
It was just the timing. I can't be the only one.
She's
No,
the only one who can bring me to order. She's the only
Timing
one.
is everything.
That was good. I like it.
Anyway, car. You're looking forward to the car.
New car, Venus, yes. I'm trying to update things, aren't I? Yes, fortnightly. Started to remove stuff from the flat to lessen the load for when I move. I'm so proud of myself. 8 bin
Ooh.
bags, huge bin bags full of clothes sent to charity.
I can't recommend doing that enough. We had a year waiting for us to move, obviously because of the pandemic getting in the way of a move. And it's just, I'll tell you something, it's a slog and you hate it, but believe me, it really helps.
What's going to bug me is the unpacking. You can get removal men to come in and pack stuff for you. You can't get them to unpack it at the other end, which is a bit annoying.
Oh, and label. Once you actually pack things yourself or whatever, label things.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's itching or whatever, but yeah.
Stuff.
So that
things.
if the box sits there, you know what's in it.
Yeah.
Have you met me?
If you put the right labels on it. Now, mind you,
Have you met
I
me?
say that. Somehow, in a move, that was the difference of 2 blocks in a truck that we returned and had to certify was empty. I managed to lose 3 cooling racks, 2 cupcake pans, and a pizza pan. Pizza stone. It's heavy. Don't know where they went. Haven't seen them since we left the other place.
It happens, though. It does. Yeah.
They weren't even in storage beforehand.
They're in an alternate universe somewhere. They might be down a vortex or the back of the
Yes.
sofa. I don't know.
Yes. Borrowers, I guess.
Yep, something like that. Oh dear, either that or they've been recruited for a special mission that they can't tell you about.
If they
Okay.
tell you about it, they'll have to kill you.
So
Happen.
Continuing the
Planning is
fortnight.
everything.
continuing the fortnight, because this is the only time I get to talk to people, apart from Adams on Sunday lunchtimes. Head's still bad with the eyes. I told you about going out for a walk with Adam, didn't I? On
Yes.
the buggy?
Yes.
And how I nearly died.
No.
That it tilted a lot.
Yeah, and
Oh,
almost
yeah,
tipped the
that-
camber on it, just almost tipped me into the bloody lake.
Have you put a cow catcher on the front of it yet?
We don't have loose cows. This isn't Jersey.
You're not aiming for cows.
Old age pensioners? I don't want to collect them.
How about Karens?
Very noisy and liable to litigation.
Yeah, but it'll cut them in half, so it'll be eliminate half the problem at least.
Is Brian frozen and doing a strange thing for other people?
No.
No.
Okay. When you go back and watch this, we're 22 minutes in, love. Just go back and watch it.
Oh wow! No, I'm seeing it on the time delay. Wow.
He's strobing. This is strobing.
All right, I have to admit, I'm broadcasting from the future with the future historians.
Oh, how are they? Or will they be?
They will be fine
Oh,
eventually. Much
that'll be
therapy
nice.
will be needed.
Oh, man. Good. Tell them we need more scripts.
They have the monkeys at the typewriters now.
Excellent. Okay, I'm sure I had more to tell people. But I don't think I have. Right.
Mention eyes. So, like eyes. What's happening with that?
Oh, my eyes. I've just got lots of drops to put in. Steroids and anti-inflammatories, and the anti-inflammatory ones.
Now, one thing when you're in for the eye exam,
Yes.
if they get a very long, thin rod with a handle on the end
It's called a
and
spoon.
start placing it, near your eye and come out with a hammer, that's
Yeah,
not your friend.
No.
good. We have Specsavers.
I'm just saying, you don't want to be lobotomized.
You sure?
Okay,
I
who
mean,
would notice? But still.
think of the advantages for you. Not for me, obviously. I'll be dribbling. But for you guys, it would be
We
lovely.
won't have to deal with song lyrics anymore. Wait a minute.
I'm determined that you're going to have to work that out one day. I really am. All you need is Google. This
All
is-
you need is love.
Right, okay. So Retta is already sounding off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to let you know, by the way, the British election. Do you remember me letting you know just how badly it was going for the Conservative Party and telling you all their, launching it in the rain and then going to the Titanic and then this, that, and the other. Well, now
Organized piss-ups in breweries. Yes.
at least
yes.
four of them
Day event.
are being investigated by the Gambling Commission for placing bets on when the election was going to be.
Yeah. Classy.
I
Have
never.
you also heard anything more from Putin's marionette, Nigel Farage?
Oh yes, and
Oh yeah.
funny you
Oh.
saying that. He was on a Panorama interview on the BBC, and he basically defended Putin, saying it was the West's fault.
Yeah. That whole that Putin puts his hand up to manipulate, the puppet. It's not in his back.
Explain his face.
A little lower. It's a little lower.
No, let me finish. Right. Right, that's that done out of the way. We got the politics out of the way. Thank God there wasn't much. Hang on, quickly look at the American politics for you lot.
Point and laugh. That's basically how our politics is going.
No, point and cry.
Well, I mean that too, but that's like standard operating procedure at the moment.
Are you allowed to talk politics? You've got Ron DeSantis as your governor.
Well, he can't run again.
Oh, you've got to limit on term times. We were discussing that for Parliament.
Governors have term limits.
That's a good idea. I mean, we were saying the same today with Adam and I. We're saying that governments over here should have maybe a 2-term limit.
Mm-hmm. Has he proposed anything like the Louisiana law for your classrooms yet?
Not yet.
Is this the Ten
Unfortunately,
Commandments?
it gives him ideas, I'm sure. But I believe it was Mississippi. I could be wrong on the state. Tried that several years ago and got slapped down. So all it's going to take is somebody pulling that into court and going,
It's unconstitutional, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Also,
hugely unconstitutional.
You know, the way to guarantee that nobody reads a thing is to make it a poster on a classroom wall.
Yeah, that's true. If you want to know what Trump's lot are up to, John Oliver did a very good piece on last week tonight, very, very recently. It'll probably be on YouTube. Look for Project 2025.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Project 2025
It's quite scary.
is... If you've ever seen The Handmaid's Tale...
No, but I get the idea. And the thing is, that's Project 2025. If that doesn't work, 2029.
They're just all horrible people that don't like themselves because nobody likes them.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder what would happen if somebody actually just went up to Trump and gave him a hug.
Well, if somebody had hugged him a few more times in his childhood, we probably wouldn't be in this mess.
Well, I did notice they did pop over here recently and roll himself against Stonehenge.
I believe it.
Let's move on from politics, because Joe doesn't like talking politics on the show. These are individual... You used to hate it when we spoke about politics. So I had to make it very clear. These are our own views, not Joe's. She has her own.
Yeah, I don't mind as long as it's people have stated that they have their own views.
Yeah, this is all it is. It always is. Everything we talk about here, each of us have our own viewpoints. If they match, great. If not, hey, we have some fun to talk about.
All I would say is, wherever the election is where you are, vote.
Yes, please. Yeah. Please vote.
Please.
Yeah. We know the Tories are gone. Which... I know I'm having arthritis attacks left, right and centre, but I'm going to do the happy dance.
I'm just going to be political here.
Careful. Q. Have you ever played Telefantasy Scrabble? Because Q and that can appear anywhere on the board at once.
Few.
Oh, few. Yeah, sorry, I thought you said Q.
Although I've been watching Picard, so, I'm addicted to Picard.
Yeah. So, someone said today, wish we could go back and forget about season 3 of Picard so we could watch it again.
Oh, I liked all of them.
No, the whole point was so he could rewatch it afresh and enjoy it once again.
I can see that,
I don't care. Brent Spiner is fantastic. Everyone's brilliant in it, but it's worth it for seeing Brent play the variety of characters.
I just want to see him do the Lifeform song again.
Life
yes.
forms, boop, 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 boop. You lovely little life forms, boop, 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 boop. Where are you? Boop, 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 boop. And it's the look that Riker gives him.
Yeah.
As she's doing this.
It's like, oh my God.
This is our second officer. What the hell's happening? I mean, you got it right. It's a case of...
I'm listening to Brent Spiner's book at the moment, and it's bizarre. really good. It's he was apparently asked by, I think, somebody, his agent or whatever, write a memoir, and he said, I don't want to do a memoir. So this is it's fan fiction. So it's some stuff is real, some stuff is fake, and you don't know which. And it's got some of the cast making little appearances, and it's I haven't got to the end of it yet, but I hope he does another book because it's barking, but beautifully barking.
I'll have to look into that. I like reading. Talking of books, I'm currently going through the Doctor Who production diaries of William Hartnell years. Dry. Very dry, but somehow engaging as well, which I think means that the editor or author has done a really good job. Basically, he's gone to the BBC archive, written archives, where all the letters and memos and all that from all the way back then are stored. Yeah, there's the odd missing one. And he's pieced them together to come up with a proper timeline for everything. It's incredibly detailed and it's fascinating. And it shouldn't be. That's the thing. It really shouldn't be. It should be as dull as dishwater, but no, for some reason. So, yeah, David Brunt, I think, wrote it. And it's available from Telos Books. Quite cheaply, actually. Very, very thick paperback. Doing our job, you see. Why do I say that? I had to buy that. I didn't get a review copy. I'm offended. Okay. Right. Here we go. Let's do what we're doing here. There'll be a spoiler warning after this, if I can find where it is. And now, say it with me, boys and girls. From the worlds of BBC Television's Doctor Who, it's Doctor Who. Spoilers! There'll be spoilers! Spoilers for Doctor Who! More spoilers! You got the idea yet? Can I carry on, please? Anyway, here we are. Yep. What, the title sequence? Sinister did that for me. I mean, it's missing out Jodie Whittaker's title sequence. It's missing out the latest titles. It's old now. But I love the music. Right. Okay.
You better now?
This episode of the show, a thing happened. So, middle-aged tween has followed us. Middle-aged tween, thank you very much for the follow, and we're so sorry. Yeah, so tonight we're slightly different. We're looking at Doctor Who, but nothing else. So Sapphire and Steel we're not going to look at until the next show. Same with the Tomorrow People. We'll go back to, was it A Rift in Time? Is that where we're coming back to?
Probably.
The Romans?
Romans, yes.
Yeah?
Yes. The Tomorrow People will not be shown tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So, now you little spiel. Retta's not making much sense tonight. I think it's because she's had her hair done nicely.
I think it's because she's watched Doctor Who and now reality is by consensus.
Okay, so what we can do...
Probably go fast.
Okay, so four sections to this. All right. The Legend of Ruby Sunday. Empire of Death. Looking at the season as a whole. And then we're going to play Joe Gets It Wrong. This is how Joe ended up back on the show tonight. It's just she happened to comment. You actually watched the episode. Someone watched us. And she made feedback. A bit of speak
I'm
your brains.
confused by that too. You actually watched the full
I can't remember
episode?
what I said.
Sorry.
Yes, but Joe does.
I have to be here for this. I don't know.
He's our longest running plucky girl assistant, aren't you, Brian? 5 years.
No. You have a mistake. You've made a mistake.
Okay.
I don't run. In fact, if you see me running, you should probably run too, because something is probably chasing you.
I never mentioned running.
You just said the longest running Plucky Girl assistant.
I do apologize. Yes, you're right. God, you try and compliment him.
Thank
He
you,
makes
though.
even
Thank you.
that difficult.
I'm not making it difficult.
What gets me is the only people who can hang around me for that length of time are Americans for some reason. All the Brits have buggered off. What does this say about me? What does this say about America?
We're
Well, we
gluttons
have
for
to
punishment.
humor. We've learned how to humor our elderly, and that some of us still remember a time when during the great robot wars of the 90s, we had to kill the robots and their death screams powered the internet.
When you mention Robot Wars, I just think of the Tesco Wars, Chime Trumpet, I think.
Oh, yes.
That was so funny. These little Tesco Expresses were popping up genuinely on the high streets during, like, I don't know, the early 2000s. They were just popping up everywhere. And then they did Time Trumpet was set sort of in the distant future. And they were doing talking heads with people that were meant to be in the future. And one of them was like, oh, do you remember that time when the Robot Wars with all these Tesco Express shops turning up? And then they suddenly went all War of the Worlds and they would have these legs. They'd traipse around the countryside. Lasering every
An obscure
surreal.
British television
That would be
reference
great.
that the Americans can't get. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Now you know what it feels like.
About that, but it was just the idea that Tesco have bigger superstores, which they still have, but there was a period where they just went, we're going to do
They
these
buy
smaller
properties.
stores,
Tiny little.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really
That's-
bad for the high
Oh
street.
no, Spirit Halloween.
Spirit Halloween. That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
They move
But
into
it must-
vacant properties
That sounds right.
Uh,
That's what Tesco
in
did.
like October, open up, sell tatty Halloween stuff, and then close again. And they never put up proper signs or anything. It's always banners.
Oh, okay.
Really crappy banners too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers for dead
And let me
businesses.
guess, all their stuff just happens to be slightly toxic and a little bit flammable.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, they're Halloween costumes. Of course they are.
Well,
how
these
we
these
kill
Tesco
small children.
Expresses, these Tesco Expresses were like just mini versions of the big superstores. Like they had all the gear, it was all presented, all slick and corporate. And I highly recommend it. Time Trumpet, probably on YouTube.
It is on YouTube, yes.
It's very, very mad, but brilliant.
It takes the piss out of the talking head thing, Oh, do you remember this? Oh, yeah, I remember that. But it's done from the future.
Charlotte Church got so drunk she vomited herself inside out. That is one of the jokes. It's Tony Blair walking off like a deranged pensioner.
Oh!
Again, this is meant to be fiction.
Joe, did you see
Oh,
the
was
death
that
of Brian
fiction
Pern? Time Trumpet. Time Trumpet
Brian
you're looking
Pern,
for.
sorry.
Did you see the death of Brian Pern?
The final storyline, yeah, but it's quite a while ago. But
Do you remember how they labelled Tony Blair in that?
No,
Because
no, I can't remember.
they'd made a habit of fucking up everybody's credit. When a talking head comes up, you'd have Andy Taylor from Duran Duran being said, it's Andy Taylor, Queen, all that sort of stuff, and so everybody got misnamed. And Tony Blair's was possible war criminal.
Oh, okay. But on Brian Pern, was that on Brian Pern
Yes.
they wrote that? Oh my god! Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, it's well worth seeing. It's got Richard Ayoade, and then loads of people just
Stuart
doing
Lee.
these random. Yeah, Stuart Lee Adam
and
Buxton.
Stu Lee, who is apparently the future version.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right. Okay, so we know what we're doing. The nth Doctor Who and his plucky girl assistant Ruby Sunday. God, it's so good to just go back to a nice normal. Hang on, what happened? Oh yeah, they land at Unit.
See, I feel that way about this entire season.
Hang on a second. Shush. We'll get there. Trust me. Save it, bottle it, build the pressure, and wait for release. I'm going to let you let rip. I promise. I will.
I'm fine with
All
that.
right. Okay.
I'm fine. We're good.
Let me set the scene.
I've taken
please.
my antipsychotics.
Good. You don't actually know where I live, do you?
Yes, I do. You gave me your address. so
I
can
am
send you a
moving in the next year, so.
I will find you.
Oh, when I'm dead, we will still have contact.
Oh, God.
I am going to break you when I'm dead. Because
I've
you're getting
already
all
been
the Marvel
broken
hardbacks,
God.
and you're going to have to pay the postage from Britain to America.
Yay.
I'm going to break you. It's going to be lovely. It's just annoying I won't be around to see it. A little bit, you're giving me that look.
Yes, we don't break our friends.
I see.
GM.
I've misunderstanding. You see? The whole friend thing. No, Brian is a plucky girl assistant in this respect. And he's
And I'm
also
a
an
DM.
evil bastard DM.
She still has yet to pay me back for Ben Grimm.
She sent Ben Grimm the Thing from the Fantastic Four to hell. This is after killing Spider-Man.
All right, and then the Doctor lands the TARDIS at Unit.
Liking your work. Liking your work.
Tangent Central tonight. Yeah, they're trying to find out who this mysterious woman is who keeps turning up wherever they go. And it's a case of, oh, that's Susan Triad. And, you know, it's S-Triad tech. And the Doctor immediately goes, oh, for heaven's sakes, to them. You imagine Pertwee doing this. Can't you see, Joe? S-Triad, that's an anagram of TARDIS. Unit, I'd love this bit. Unit sort, I'd already worked that out yonks ago, and they're all just
Right, they're
looking
like,
at
oh,
him.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. It's like,
Even
really?
the soldier,
Yeah.
even who's the soldier? I want to keep calling him Cheekbone. He's one of the
Ibrahim or
unit-
something?
Yeah, Colonel Ibrahim.
Yeah, even he has an eye roll of like, well, yeah.
He's the new Sergeant Benton, we've decided.
I
By the
was
way.
wondering. I call him Cheekbones because I can never remember his name, but he's impressive looking man. So yeah.
Retta, I can only apologise. I'm sorry. Blame Virgin Media. I'm really sorry.
What have they done?
Oh, apparently we're rubber banding all over the place. So, I was almost on the point of asking Brian to host tonight's show, but I don't think you've got the settings anymore, have you?
I would need them from you.
But we'll see. We'll have to see.
Do I actually still have the scenes? I might have the scenes.
I was going to sort of say we'll just go for a straight show, you know, no videos or anything else like that, just come straight in. But it's a moot point. See? Self-discipline, Lilibert.
I approve.
Thank you. Want a lolly.
Oh yeah, no, I still
Star
have the
sticker
scenes.
if you're good.
Thank you. So anyway, the Doctor wants to try and work out who this woman is who's been following around the universe of space and time. And at the same time, they've got another mystery. Who is Ruby's mother? And now, back in the 70s, possibly the 80s, can't remember, the Doctor explicitly forbade Unit from having anything to do with time technology. So their time window is 10 floors down.
Yes.
I like that moment. It was just the utter resignation from Kate. And can I say, since RTD's come in, Kate Stewart's developed a personality.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like Kate Stewart.
Yeah.
I always have, but
We need more Kate Stewart.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe, what did you say?
No, sorry. And her and Cheekbones. Ah, the little hand holding at the end. and the little-
Yes.
This is true.
Yes.
Saying, I know, apologies for skipping, but I'm just saying, I liked that. I thought it was quite adorable.
And considering what they've been through,
Yeah.
it's understandable as well.
Well, did you see how concerned she got for his safety?
It's when they attacked him that she was like, all right, everybody fire.
Oh, we must
Gloves
come
are
back to
coming
this.
off. This bitch needs to die.
So,
Cheekbones. Anyway, sorry.
so they used this time window to get this old CCTV videotape of the day Ruby was dropped off at the church in Ruby Road. And strange things happen again. It starts snowing, and it's real snow again. And they're trying to work things out. They can't work things out. And then Unit basically say, hang on a second, there's something around, because obviously the TARDIS, because it's a memory from the CCTV of what happened back then, in the church on Ruby Road, the Doctor goes back to look at this. And so in this video replay, the TARDIS materialises. And Unit are doing scanny stuff. A man gets killed, which, considering that there's a wonderful juxtaposition. The point there, the Doctor and Kate had a little chat when they're talking about Susan. Yes, that one. And Kate says, for what it's worth, I think you bring joy. Contrast that to the look she gives the Doctor after that poor lad gets killed in the memory window. Pure hate. Because he was the one who was encouraging him. So I thought, there's some character development going on here. I like this. The Doctor ends up going to S-Triad Technologies and whatever after a big red cloud of God knows, Christ knows what surrounds the memory TARDIS. Well, we'll call it the memory TARDIS. They go to see Season Triad, and the trouble is what they've discovered, because Melanie, known as Mel, is there. Is that she's really nice.
Like, change.
Yes, frankly.
Instead of being megalomaniacal, a horrible, I'm going to put out this technology and take over the whole world. Actually, she probably is genuinely doing the technology to be nice to people. And it is about the technology taking over the whole world. And she's actually a really, caring person.
Yeah.
It was refreshing.
Say again, please, Joe.
It's refreshing that was the case. That
None of this was her fault in the end. So it turns out that it's the Destroyer, the Tythonian Beast, and we're not talking Erato here. It's Sutekh from Pyramids of Mars. Who's had a bit of a redesign, not that impressed with it. And this is, like I say, it's a two-parter, and then we go on a... Sutekh wins, basically. Except for a sleight of hand at the end, which is a callback to something. You only get one chance to trick the gods. And this was their one chance. But we'll come to that ending. So, Joe, you're our guest this evening. Would you like to tell us what you thought of those two episodes, please?
Oh, okay. Well, as a Londoner, I love the opening shot of the TARDIS. I do like the TARDIS flying and spinning around. I think it's quite cool. But flying over my old hometown is especially just lovely, really, seeing the Thames. I thought it was nice to have the gang back together again. You've got everybody in the room, including Rose, Donna's Rose, who I felt the actress had a teeny bit more to do, and she seemed more relaxed in this episode. I do feel there was too many people in there, that she was a bit of a spare part, but not the actor's fault. And I think that was just they just wanted everybody there. So there was she pressed a few buttons, said a couple of lines, but really there wasn't.
I thought she had less to do in this than she did in Starbeast.
True. It's more, her performance was more relaxed in this. I felt she was more believable.
Yeah, but she had nothing to do.
Well, she was there to provide psychological comfort for Ruby because they're closer in age.
Yeah, and they
Interesting
Is a
point.
line there
Interesting
where
point.
she's like, "They never let me do anything."
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Which
this
might
is
be
it.
on the-
UNIT now stands for the United Nations Infancy Taskmasters. They
But it
employ
might be-
children.
It might be also Donna saying, "You get Rose in trouble, you get her hurt, you have to deal with me." So
That is
maybe-
exactly what it is. That's
They've
why
got
she
me
was gonna
doing
go do anything.
shoplifting.
On the
Yeah.
other hand, she's on essentially the bridge.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
She's not down in some office somewhere, which they could have done. Like, just
Yeah.
stuck her in an office somewhere.
Filing, yeah.
Oh my God, she's the Wesley.
Yes, she's Wesley.
Yeah.
So I liked what was it, Morris Gibbs?
Lenny Rush. Yeah, Morris.
The actor, but I also love, is it Ruth Madeley? So I was thinking, oh,
Yes.
I like him, I do, but I like the other character as well, and I thought, oh, I hope they bring her back, which I've read somewhere that might be the case.
I think we're going to have a
and,
rotating regular cast of UNIT characters.
Yeah, I like them both. They have they're very, they're sort of, yeah, they're very good at what they do, and a bit of comic value as well as drama.
Bring
as well.
back Osgood.
I do
Yes.
want to say that they need to evaluate every single person that works for UNIT whose name begins with an H.
Yes, that's. I think that's a very good point that you should put forward to human resources at
Yes.
UNIT.
Yep. Fool me once, fine. Fool me twice, what the hell?
Thing is, the Doctor didn't know about the Harbinger. It was a
Okay.
separate thing in the Devil's Court. He didn't know. So there is missing stuff this season. I'm going to go straight there now. I think switching to 8 episodes was a mistake for the overall plotting of the season.
That is something that I comment on as a overall thing, which whenever we get to that, I'm happy to say.
So
But,
I always jump in.
so-
You know what I'm like.
So Susan, the whole thing of Susan trying to, but I really like the actress Susan Twist, and I was like, oh, don't, because I'm thinking, oh, my getting it wrong was, she's had a fob watch. She's another Time
Yeah,
Lord. She
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
she's a Time
Fair.
Lord, and she's. Do the one that broke our hearts, which was, oh for God, what's his name? We met him, he was lovely. Where he turns into John Sim, and that broke my heart because I'm going, oh, I'm so used to seeing he tends to play either strange actors or characters or dark characters, and he was being light and fluffy, and then he turns into John Sim Master, and that kind of broke my heart because he was just so lovely and fluffy. So that's why I was
Huckabee.
thinking, are they going to do that again with Susan Twist? She's so lovely and sweet, and then they're going to turn her into this hidden Time Lord. Obviously, I got it wrong. So
Can I just say how remarkable it was? They found an actress called Susan Twist. I honestly thought it was going to be some sort of pseudonym they'd put up there to cover it. No, that's her real name.
Okay, I think her name came first.
yeah.
I think they saw her, they liked her, they hired her, and then Russell went, you know what I'm gonna do? I
could
got
just
I'm
it.
not sure. I don't know. I honestly think that because they haven't said anything about that, as far as they're concerned, that's it. Plus, I am absolutely certain she would not want to be known for the rest of her career as a name that isn't hers when she's been working on building a different, a career under a different name.
No.
me.
I think he hired her. They cast her, and then he decided to do the whole twist
Yeah,
at the end
yeah.
thing.
I
Looked
see your
at her
point.
name is
Sorry,
like,
yes.
oh,
Yeah.
I can't
It
pick
was
I
it.
in-
cannot do it.
I see your point.
Perhaps inspired by her name. So the Doctor explained to Ruby about regeneration. Sometimes we hide ourselves away, so that's where I was still thinking,
Yeah.
oh, is the hiding something like that? I mean, it was kind of hiding in plain sight, but obviously not another Time Lord. Mel, I was delighted because, to be honest, no offense to Melanie, the character, I wasn't enamored with her at the time, and I really love how Bonnie Langford is allowed to
I
act.
thought she gave the best performance of her career, well, certainly a Doctor Who career in Empire of Death.
I mean, early
Yeah.
80s,
Superb.
to remember her dancing career and everything, and obviously she was in a lot of stuff as a child actress, but it was just lovely. She's actually playing a bit more of a nuanced character. Mel's got more grit, she's determined, she wants to fight, she gives a damn, and she's savvy, so I really like that. And the whole CCTV aspect with the footage, I thought that was beautifully done. I know that's definitely Disney money, but I really like that whole stage and setting. Mel on a scooter, well, what's not to like? It's Bonnie Langford on a scooter, so there you go, legend, full stop, no more, that's it. She is a legend. And Undercover Mel, so again, the gritty character that she's not being devious, but she's actually trying to, you know. Are you okay? Sorry, are you looking a bit
No,
baffled?
Chestnut is killing something right next to me.
Oh, dear.
Excellent.
Chestnut.
Your area
so-
of darkness is doing well.
You should see the state of it as well. You know, you can get these little cubbyhole boxes. And I've got that.
So
But he pulls them out. And
it was
pulls them. Sorry, Joe. Sorry.
so it was just nice to see Langford actually being given some meat on the bones to
Hear,
actually do. Mrs. Flood, well, I'm a Queen fan. Brian May, Mrs. Flood, played by Anita Dobson, who is Lady May, Brian May's wife. But I remember her from her EastEnders days, I should say.
Happy Christmas, Ange.
Well, the point I'm trying to say, and she's obviously done loads of other stuff, theatre career and everything, but in the heyday of that era, first era of EastEnders, her character, you see her have a heartbreak. You see her do monstrous things and being manipulative and playing games. So when Mrs. Flood is introduced, I was thinking, oh my god, they've got an actress who can do it all. Is she going to be a goodie? Is she going to be a baddie? Is she going to be something in between? So she always says, she said at this point, always hiding myself away, being brilliantly enigmatic at the same time, then when she's being mean about, I'm not going to make you a cup of tea, and I thought, oh god, is she going to be a monster at this point?
Yeah,
And then we know it's not quite the case. Kate remembering about her father, talking about the doctor, lump in throat. For what it's worth, I think you bring joy. I thought that was just lovely, absolutely perfect. And I love how Mel reacted to the regeneration. It's going back to how Tennant turned into Ncuti. I loved how Mel was so joyful. Bonnie Langford's expression was joy, wonder, like a child watching Doctor Who for the first time. We saw the Doctor through her eyes, and it was sort of like she was displaying what all of us who are fans probably remember in our childhood, seeing the wonder of Doctor Who. And I thought that Bonnie Langford portrayed that when Tennant turned into or not turned into, but they did the whatever degradable washing up liquid, regeneration. So I thought that was lovely that she actually showed the wonder of Doctor Who and what it's at its core, the magic, really. Am I going straight into Emperor of Death, or do you want me to shut up?
Give us a second. Lilibet, initial thoughts on Legend of Ruby Sunday, please?
Initially was a little annoyed is the wrong word, but I was like, focus, Doctor, when he was like, okay, so we're here to find out.
I know what you're saying. Something big
Susan
happens
Triad
in the memory
is.
window, and he fucks off to.
Well, no, okay, Susan Triad is important. This lady's been turning up. We know there's something weird going on, and then Unit's like, yeah, we flagged this lady. She's doing this thing. This is happening, like, right now. And then they're like, okay, but we also, simultaneously, at the same time, with an equal amount of importance, need to find out what's going on with Ruby's mother. Which, to me, did not seem to have that level of urgency.
It did, though, because of all the strange things that were happening. For example, the snow. It's
Yes.
a case of he's got two problems he needs to sort out: this Susan Triad person and the snow. And either one of them could turn into something horrible. So what I didn't like was after they're in the memory window and the people had died and whatever, that's when he buggered off to see Susan Triad. And it should have been prioritised here.
Well, because the Susan Triad thing was happening, I think what I was like, okay, one at a time, Doctor. The snow thing has never been it's been a curiosity. It's been interesting. There's clearly something unique going on. So why? But that's never been a danger. It's never been something that it's actually been really helpful and positive. Every time the snow's turned up, when the song was in her heart and baffled the maestro, like that's all been really positive from the Doctor's perspective.
I just figured it out.
Oh, go on.
Ruby is a Disney princess. She's Elsa. That's why they have the snow.
Oh, she's from upstairs, downstairs. Oh, Ruby.
Oh, Ruby, no.
Showing my age.
I did like that essentially we have 3 mystery women. We have the Susan Twist mystery, we have Ruby's mother's mystery, and we have the Mrs. Flood mystery. The Doctor doesn't know about the Mrs. Flood mystery.
No.
Okay. Brian, Emperor... sorry, not Emperor Death. Hold on. Legend of Ruby Sunday.
I
What do you
love
think?
this episode
And he's frozen.
of the season.
Say it again. Sorry, you froze.
Oh, this was one of the best Doctor Who episodes of the season.
was
I
on the edge
love
of my
this
seat.
episode.
Edge of my seat.
Yeah, it was great. You had everything going off, and you had all these different unconnected threads kind of coming together, which goes back to the goblins. But you could see something was happening. The Mrs. Floods thing, I'm thinking she's either
Wait,
Susan.
wait.
Okay. Well,
Okay, this is where Joe gets it wrong.
She shows up, and all of a sudden she turns cold.
Yes, that was a surprise.
Yeah, she flipped a switch there or something.
Yeah.
But if she isn't human to begin with, she knew what was going on.
There is a still, and I don't know if... No, it's not from the Memory TARDIS. It's from the actual Doctor Who podcast, the official podcast. They're actually doing one now. Only took them 17 years.
Yeah, I saw that.
Of her case, her travel case.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of very familiar names from around the galaxy on that case. It's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
But we'll come to that in Joe Gets It Wrong.
Yeah. So there's that. I love that Kate's having an affair with Colonel Cheekbones.
Hello.
That just is
On you,
both
Kate. Good.
hilarious, and
Why is it hilarious?
to me it's hilarious because she's in charge of a unit, and she knows that she could probably get really canned by HR for dating under ranks
You
of her.
man, you.
No, HR, modern day HR.
This is
Yeah,
unit.
yes.
They employ children.
Doesn't matter.
And everyone in the unit's an Epo baby. One of the soldiers was called Sullivan. We know whose granddaughter that is.
Mm-hmm. And that brings up the other thing where they really need to check people's last names.
Ah, yes, Arbinger.
Harriet Arbinger.
But why should that flag an Ascensionist? It's a bit odd, but
Should the same people who can figure out that spelled TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
why should it be
And
a problem
granted,
if
they
that's
went
just
for the
how her-
wrong anagram,
Yes.
but
Well, but here's what I like is that, yes, we all went for the wrong anagram.
we
However,
went for the simple anagram.
right. However,
It was too obvious.
Mhm.
I like that this is a double-leveled thing, and it ties into Susan Twist actually being a good person, which is that Sutek has put these people out in the universe we find, birthed them essentially,
Wherever the
Draw
Doctor has
on-
gone.
drawing on things that, from the TARDIS, from the memories, all of this. The thing is, Sutek's trying to create destruction, and what he actually does is create nice people. Not everybody's going to be nice, but a lot of those characters are probably nice people. And the whole Susan TARDIS thing, yes, it's deliberately a trap for the Doctor, but also Susan is the one who named the TARDIS, right? So the idea, like, Sutekh couldn't help when drawing out stuff from the Doctor and from the TARDIS, couldn't help but actually create good, because that's what he's getting from the Doctor and the TARDIS.
That's a lovely thought. I like.
Yeah.
Trying to create evil, but
A power that I.
trying
It's like
to good.
the TARDIS is corrupting him,
Yes.
corrupting his vision.
I
Yeah.
would
Yes.
like to ask a question. This isn't Sutekh's MO normally. He doesn't start coming out with anagrams and tricks and this, that, and the other. It's like he just destroys everything. He doesn't need all that nonsense. And he's not after humiliating the Doctor.
I agree with you, because the Osirans set all kinds of traps and nonsense.
Yeah, but that was
And-
to stop him from... There was a reason to do that. It was a way of
Yes.
keeping him imprisoned.
But this is like his. It's not the techniques he used before, but it is techniques that have historically been effective in his surroundings.
Plus, he needs these in order to get them to probe further into Ruby's past to get him to, for all intents and purposes, manifest freely from the TARDIS.
Well, there's thoughts basically saying that he was in a weakened state for most of the time he was with the TARDIS.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's only from Wild Blue Yonder, when the Doctor cast the salt, that...
I bet she's going to say yonder.
What do you mean, I bet she's going to say yonder?
You froze.
Oh, you didn't?
You
No,
did.
but you right on the before you complete that.
How very old. But that's the current running theory, is Sutekh got the power from the casting of the salt. That was the bit he needed. So, which is why we've only started seeing Mrs. Twist turn up during these episodes rather than beforehand. I mean, you could say that Michael Shard was essentially another Susan Twist character, because he's appeared in Christ knows how many Doctor Who's, in the case of, there's that man again! He goes everywhere I go, you know? It's...
You make an interesting point, too.
Hey,
Because Mrs. Flood is independent of the Sutekh reappearance.
Yes.
So that means she's something entirely separate.
Yes.
I always think something different. And I also just say following on from what Lilibet I think was sort of saying was that the other way I was looking at it was maybe Susan Twist and some of these people that have been dotted around the Doctor's timeline and where he's been. Sometimes people, even if they're forced to try and do bad things, whether or not they're aware of it or not, by environment or whatever, sometimes the goodness outweighs the badness, and maybe the other way of looking at it is maybe the goodness in Twist's DNA rose above maybe any evil that wasn't activated at that point. She just was a good person that she always was going to be before being actually activated as an agent.
I love these theories we're coming out with tonight. This is excellent stuff.
I love the actress. I love the fact. Again, I love actors who can play that multifaceted, that can actually surprise you. That's why I love Brent Spiner in Picard.
Can I ask a question? Have you ever dreamt you're an ambulance?
No. No.
Seriously, if a stranger came up and asked you that, you'd be...
Yeah, that was quite sinister, I thought. But again, she
Once.
was so good.
There
Playing
was
all
cheese
these-
involved.
I like
Yes.
that you brought up Michael, because Doctor Who has a history of having lots of the same actors play different characters.
Michael Wisher,
So-
Michael Sheard.
And even like Peter Capaldi,
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Three characters in the
Karen
universe.
Gillian.
Two
so
characters.
the idea,
Colin Baker.
yeah,
Colin
the
Baker.
idea that
Two.
one, that the Doctor would see faces that he recognizes on, scattered around the universe, probably doesn't actually surprise him all that much until he's seen this many in a row.
He's got a far better memory than I have.
Well, I mean, I will say as a teacher, I see 200 kids a year. I'm on year 21. After a while, you kind of clock types. And you go, "Oh, you look a lot, you remind me of," or "You look a lot," you don't say those out loud because that's rude. But in your head, you go, "You remind me of so and so." But it wouldn't be, and we have, as audiences, are used to seeing actors play multiple roles, so it's kind of nice that they've like drawn attention to it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that's the intentionality of like a connection, but it is a nice metatextual connection.
So, may I ask, thumbs up or down for The Legend of Ruby Sunday? Sorry, I am knocking it on a bit.
Up.
Joe?
I think all I would say, I think I can't remember who mentioned it, but I do think because the condensed, there's fewer episodes. I think the beats, things are rushed sometimes in
Yes.
certain
Yes.
places, and
Okay.
character drive happen quickly.
Right. Here we go then. I apologise in advance. Brian, talk to us about the Empire of Death.
Oh no, you don't want me to go first.
Oh, I do.
Okay. Empire of Death.
Because there's a good
Had a
chance you'll
strong
say
beginning.
stuff that we'll all want to say and we won't have to bother.
Yeah, it had a very strong beginning. Though I am a bit insulted that they would reskin the dragon from Mulan and place it as Sutek. A little insulted that they didn't think we would notice something.
I don't know what this is.
Don't worry about it. It's a Disney movie.
In that case, I don't feel bad about that. Why would I be watching
Yeah.
a kids' movie?
Apart from that, I found everything up until the end was gripping.
Okay.
Was
good.
very well done. However, the end was a bunch of pretentious bollocks.
Okay.
So basically the Doctor is using reality by consensus here. Death plus death equals life. Life plus life equals life. Life plus death equals death, and death plus life equals death. The fuck? It doesn't work like that.
Now, you multiply both sides by 0, you get 0.
Exactly. Would it have been too hard just to say, "Oh, we have to drag him into the time stream so that his death echoes up throughout the entire time stream, and at every single moment where he's manifested, he dies at the same time, therefore reversing all his effects"? I don't think so. I think the audience could have handled it. But
This is one
dumbing
of
it
the
down
things I
to
like
death
about
plus
Brian's
death
rants.
equals death plus death equals life. What the? Give us a little bit more credit than that. I'm of the opinion that whatever Disney exec is in charge of the scripts was on vacation for last episodes, and they were out for a week, and they came back, and then they got this script, and then they just started redlining so much and having it all rewritten because the end was absolute shit.
Apparently, they don't have that level of involvement. The ending,
I find
however,
that-
I mean, I do like the fact that whenever you go on a rant, you also provide a solution, like you just did.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a positive way of doing things.
Well, here's another solution then.
Okay, please.
Okay, so the Doctor is all upset. Oh no, now I have to become the monster.
That's been an
I wanted
ongoing
to slap
thing.
him.
Sorry, what?
I wanted to slap him hard.
It's been an ongoing thing all the way through the new series. You know,
He's
the
making-
Doctor. He's also a monster.
Oh, he's making me kill. I wanted to slap him. I'm not lying. I wanted to slap him. Those lines should never have come out of that man's mouth. Life kills daily. You, me,
Do
a
you
little bit, Joe,
stop to think about the
on
act?
a daily
tread on?
freaking basis. Life kills. If you want to take a issue with that, what'd you have for lunch?
Haven't eaten
What'd
yet
you have
today.
for dinner?
Haven't eaten today.
You haven't eaten today?
No, not yet.
No wonder you're feeling so poorly.
No.
Open up a canned cheeseburger.
I don't have a can of cheeseburger. God, you don't
I'm
have
just
a can
saying.
of cheeseburger. No. I've
eat
got,
them
I've
all
got
the
food
same
waiting for me. I
community.
just
Anyway, we're digressing.
digesting, surely.
Not yet.
All right.
But yeah, no, life kills. If anything, he's the guardian of life. The man's called the doctor, okay? What does a doctor do? You have a patient who's sick and dying.
It depends where you hear the term, because it could mean a warrior,
He who makes people better.
or it could
Is
mean a warrior.
I'm sorry, no, that's the master's definition.
No, it's not the master's definition.
Yes,
Well,
it's
sorry,
called
that, yeah, but it's also
Yeah.
it,
The people
that's
of the
what you-
forest.
Exactly. You know, it's a case of whose definition are you
Okay,
taking.
but you have a patient who's dying. They have a malignant tumor.
This is
Do
getting a
you
little
sit there and agonize that, oh, if I take this tumor out, the tumor will die? Oh, God, no, not that. No, you cut the damn thing out, which he did with Sutek. You don't agonize about the decision when it's for the greater good like that.
Ooh, careful. There's those words, for the greater good.
To bring all life back into the universe, that's in the favor
It is a
of,
fair use of that definition.
that is perhaps the ultimate
Needed to be
definition
pointed
of
out.
that.
Okay.
All right, you cut out a malignant tumor, Sutek. You let that die, and all of us, and you bring everything back.
What about the other Sutex that's on the other TARDIS?
Well, see, the question that I have:
That's a good question.
did Sutek jump ship? Are there two of him?
That's a good way of bringing him back, to be fair.
Is he living in the jukebox?
I think
Ooh.
Sutek is such a powerful being that you can never truly get rid of him, because if you get rid of death, life loses all importance.
Well, I
God
think this
almighty,
is.
you are so depressing tonight.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
This is
But,
you in love. Right, okay.
I do think it's interesting that the Osirans, since this episode is really clearly basing itself on Pyramids of Mars, it's not just referencing a character we've seen before. We see Pyramids of Mars footage. So
Yeah.
it's fair game. The Osirans trap Sutek. Presumably, they could have killed them. Characters get killed in Egyptian mythology regularly.
But that would have made them no better than Sutek.
Right.
That's very pretentious, too.
The Osirans.
But it's actually, I think, it tracks with Doctor Who, because we
Yeah.
see that come up a lot. And I did like when the Doctor, finds out that, okay, Sutek's all over the place, the Susan Twists are all over the place, because everywhere I went, it went. And the Doctor went, I thought it was fun. And that's kind of been our theme for this season,
Yes.
right? Especially the first two episodes. We're like, this is supposed to be fun after all the angst and all the darkness and everything else. That's what this is. We're traveling and having a good time. Him and Ruby across the universe.
Except every episode he cries.
Yeah, I'm fine with
Which is a good thing, because it shows men it's all right to cry.
It's also,
Yeah.
this is the Doctor who is explicitly dealing with his feelings in the moment and experiencing the loss and experiencing the joy, all of it fully. So I liked that moment of him screaming in frustration, because that meant that he's living that experience. He's not going, okay, well, it's really important, so tamp it down and deal with it later. Those were the 10th Doctor mistakes. He's here to heal that. And we don't lose sight of that in the overwhelming moment that is this.
Right.
And I think it means that the Doctor doesn't see people as means to an end. He sees individual people as special, even if he doesn't know their name, even if they don't remember their name.
In all of 900 years, he's never met someone who wasn't important.
Right? And then we get that great 11th Doctor line. I think it was the 11th Doctor. Who punishes a villain because they didn't know their name.
Yeah.
Right? You killed her and you didn't know her name.
Then you've also got, wasn't it? No, I'll shut up.
But it's that kind of that I actually like the resolution with Ruby.
You're thinking
because
Vampires in Venice.
Vampires in Venice.
Yeah.
That's it. It absolutely tracks, therefore, thematically for not just this Doctor, but the new Doctor, that Ruby's mother is ordinary. That it's the protective love to give her child up to a place she knew she would be safe.
At the church.
That, yeah, because she
Really?
knew, like, yes, because she knocks on the door and immediately somebody comes in and takes this kid in.
Okay, so we're talking about safe
Now who's
for the
being dark, Auntie?
Yeah, well, you don't really look at the church as a safe place nowadays, not for kids.
Well, it's always been a place that you could abandon your infant.
Yes.
Yes.
That's traditionally
That's
that's been
about
a
it,
thing.
Much like the safe haven laws over here.
Right, exactly. And clearly there was a service going on because there were carols going on. It's midnight mass or midnight service. There's
On
carols.
Christmas Eve, yeah, there's going to be service.
There's people in the church. So it makes sense that, because when originally they were like, oh, I was left on a doorstep at Christmas Eve, and I was like, who's there? Why are they, like, nobody knocks on the door or anything. Why do they suddenly, like, come out and find, oh, of course, it's midnight on Christmas Eve. Of course there's people there.
It's
Of
the
course
perfect
there's
time to drop a baby off, isn't it?
of course they're singing, once upon, the
Carol of the Bells.
Carol of the Bells.
That was the song in Ruby's heart, by the way.
Yes. And I like that it turns out that no, her mother isn't some magical her mother has an interesting fashion sense, but 15-year-olds do.
Well, she could have been a goth. I mean,
She
come
could have been a
on.
goth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what is Ruby? She's 20?
19.
No,
19?
yeah. I mean, the actress was
19.
18 when she filmed most of this.
Okay. So
Yeah, but
Remarkable
character's
for an
19.
18-year-old.
if we
she's
say
Yeah.
then we're going into the early 2000s.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We were
Okay.
coming out
That
of the
tracks that
90s.
her mom's a goth who's walking around in a cape.
Right? I mean, she's
She's
got the
hiding,
DMs
right?
on her feet. She's
She's
yeah.
hiding a pregnancy. Yeah, like that tracks.
Yeah.
How else, like, if you were a 15-year-old trying to hide a pregnancy in the early 2000s, you definitely go with goth fashion.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
So I like that works for me. The whole pointing, naming her thing.
Yeah,
I
that was a
automatically,
little
but,
pushing it.
But I also think that memory changes when the Doctor shows up. So maybe there's a thing happening there. I don't know. I like the idea.
It quite possibly is, but it still doesn't explain the snow.
I don't think it has to. Because her mother being an ordinary person who loved her enough to hide her and then give her up, and then actually never take a DNA test, that's a choice. For a mother who's given up a child to never take a DNA test, that's a choice she's made on purpose. Presumably to let her child live her life. I think that it's love. I think it's a mother's love in protecting her child by giving her away in a situation she would otherwise be in danger.
Okay.
And that's protecting Ruby.
That's what's protecting Ruby, did you say?
Like that's the music. That's
Kind of
the
like a Harry
show.
Potter thing.
Bit Harry Potterish, yeah. I think that's what's special
we
about
don't
this.
mention Harry Potter on this show.
Well,
Sorry.
I know she's an awful human.
Yeah, we're not going to talk Harry Potter either.
I wouldn't go that
concept.
far. I'd draw the line at human.
Bipedal life form. The concept of a parental protective love is, I think that is what is special. And then also, Ruby spent her entire life, like many adopted people, her entire life has been focused on who is my mother. She's got videotapes that they look at every year, right? They've got all kinds of focus. She knows stories. They tell her stories all the time. Like, this has been something that matters to her whole life and has been a mystery her whole life. Which doesn't necessarily make her special among humans, but do we know anybody the doctors traveled with who has that kind of background? We've had some orphans before.
We don't know enough about Toto.
Ace?
No, Ace wasn't.
Ace ran away.
Yeah, Ace was a runaway. Okay.
So
Can
I
we-
think what makes this unique in the doctor's experience is, like, where the doctor's like, it's important because we made it important. I think that's true.
Can we move on a little?
Yes.
Because we're about an hour and a half in. That's all. It's always like this when we have more than three of us. It's
Yes.
Joe, do you want to let us know your thoughts on Empire of Death?
Yeah, I think again, I think the series being condensed and not sometimes doesn't have the chance to breathe in some parts. That's what I was talking about, hitting the beats. Sometimes certain narratives and storylines or character drives are sped up because, oh crap, we're going to run out of space here, or oh, we've got to fill this bit, and that's where I think sometimes the pacing is a bit off. So I think this two-parter, there's aspects where I feel it's rushed and other bits where I think, oh, we've put too much in the first story, the first part, and then we're kind of having to sort of buy time for the big end. And you know, but anyway, that's my opinion. Mel on a moped, I mean, you know, you can't have too much of the Langfords on a moped. She's a legend, and I'm going to keep saying that. She's a legend. The Dobster, Ange, Anita Dobson. What I thought was really lovely, and again, because how she left it in the previous story or first part, where she's like, oh, she's not going to make is it Cherry or Sherry a cup of tea, and she's being quite mean about it, and you think, oh god, we're building up, she's going to do the big reveal, and then the Dobster does the lovely flip, and she's comforting Sherry and saying, I had such plans. So obviously that's enigmatic, that's her own storyline, but the fact that she sits with her, holds her hand, she knows what's coming, and she seems to have some degree of moral or knowing to comfort somebody, knowing that somebody's worried
There's a
and
compass
concerned.
there somewhere.
Something there, and that's what I like about the Dobster, and that's what I'm glad so far they're utilizing Anita Dobson's skill of being more than just shouty, angry, or very sweet. She can do the nuance, so I really liked that, and I'm looking forward to what will happen with Mrs. Flood's character. Yeah, Sutik travelled with the Doctor all along. I thought it was quite clever. But Gabriel Wolfe, I mean, God, that voice. I mean, what I would criticise, and this might be a BBC thing in general, the audio.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Too loud with some of the sound effects and music. Amount of times I had to say, what did they say? Oh, hey, what?
It's
hey?
not just you, and it's not just the BBC. It's an industry problem.
When you get older, your hearing does change. But anyway, that was just something that's a much better.
That's why I've started watching with
The
subtitles.
problem they've got is the sound editors have to mix so many different sorts of mix, like stereo, Dolby, 5.1, Atmos, etc. something's got to give, and
And
the levels are wrong.
To quote Spinal Tap, doubly as well. So
Doubly.
I remember TARDIS. I thought that was quite sweet, and I was
love the memory TARDIS. I love it.
It's really sweet. Intelligent rope, yeah, whatever. That's what you're going to do in sci-fi. You're going to have intelligent rope, so that's fine.
No, I'd say no. That's what you're going to do in Doctor Who. You won't get it in other sci-fi.
The perception filter, 73 yards. I quite like that callback. Mother and baby scene. What was it with the mother and baby and the spoon?
Yes.
I wasn't quite sure when I watched it first. I thought, where are they going with this? This scene didn't need to happen.
It
really
didn't have any introduction at all. It was just suddenly happening. And it's going, what's going on here?
It felt actually really Star Warsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a good thing.
So I
Depends on the Star Wars.
But this is what I mean by things paced in a weird way. We suddenly jump to that. There's no run up. Then, as a watcher, hello, I'm a watcher. I love saying that. Sometimes I do say.
Try saying a logopolitan then.
Later. So where was it? So yeah, I thought the actress, it was really well acted, and it was a beautiful moment. You know, it was a tragedy, but my brain was kind of going, where are we? What are we doing here? And it kind of took the edge off that really beautifully acted scene.
And did you not feel? I'm so sorry. Did you not feel that it was almost heading towards revealing that was Susan, the Susan?
Susan or the baby was Ruby, and you know, it's all that sort of stuff, and it was all misdirection.
All
And
to
this
get a
is
spoon.
why, because there's too much, and the spoon, which I thought Capaldi did a sword fight with a spoon, so is there some real callback to that? So I was left with like, what's happening here? What? Hey, what? Hey, and that again, I think, is condensing and rushing things at some points, because you've got these set pieces where you got the Disney money, which is great, that's fine. But then you have these moments where you go, oh, you're rushing it because you needed a line to lead up to that, but you don't have room to do that. So I'm rushing this really quickly. But I still thought that actress and that scene was really interesting. I love the line, was it facts dying in the death wave? I do feel, and again, just a nod to politics, international politics as well as UK politics. Oh my God, I do feel that facts dying in the death wave really sums up politics in 2024 and for the last sort of 8 to 10 years.
Now just say Mrs. Thatch.
Well, just in general, really, everything going shit in a handbag. Pardon my language, but anyway. I love
the string, the rope
We
inside
discussed.
the new
We mentioned that. We did mention.
snuggling up to the Doctor's jumper. I was like, oh, that's really quite sweet. But obviously, I was detecting that she was not herself. Thought the vortex was cool. I haven't seen Mulan, but I could understand Disney money. Maybe they've got like a game book of drawings. Maybe they went to the
I think they have the same amount of money as something like the Star Wars franchise. It's still, it's okay, but it doesn't look that expensive.
But I don't know. It didn't bother me. I just all I did bother me was that there was moments where it just looked like a dog, and I just imagined our dogs. So I was kind of going, "Oh, it's an evil thing." Oh, but give it a treat; it'll be fine.
The amount of photographs I've seen in the past
dog
are dogs
figures
in
of
front of
little tortoises.
in the police box. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like it because if they tried giving him a dog treat, would it have worked?
Oh, it depends on the dog treat. Believe you
Can
me.
we just rub his belly and call him a good boy?
Yeah. Oh well, that
His
leads on
evil
to,
is your good, or vice versa.
that leads on to one of my comments. Mrs. Flood, when everything is righted, you know, and everything's resolved, she says "clever boy." It reminded me of Clara.
In that case, Joe, if we may, can we move on to Joe gets it wrong, please?
Oh no, just quickly, also the snow. But you mentioned about the snow, and O'Brien was saying, is it significant, that sort of thing. What I took from that, and again I could be completely wrong, is that because the significance of the power of love, quote or whatever song, have whatever song version of Power of Love in your head right now, but with the power
I'm your
Huey Lewis in the
lady, and you are that. No, shut up.
knowing what
Huey
Lily
Lewis in the news, definitely.
going what Lillybrook mentioned about the power of love, the strength of this woman trying to make the right decision at 15. It was a traumatic time, all this sort of stuff. That I felt the snow was evidence of that level of power. The reality, that world, that moment, that point in time was bleeding into any reality. It was so powerful, and it was a nice visual. You know, it's enigmatic having snow appearing indoors and whatever. So it was a nice visual trope to have. But I just felt it was also maybe perhaps symbolizing the power of the emotion of Ruby desperate to find out answers, and the strength of her young mother making this horrible decision but doing it with the best intentions, and that it was sort of that world, that moment in 2002 bleeding into Ruby's present, purely based on like an emotional wave bleeding in from 2002 to the present day. But that's just reading too much into it. It just looks nice, really. Kate and Cheekbones Soldier, good on you, Kate. I hope we get invited to the wedding. What was that? Yeah, also the ending. Yeah, I did. The only thing I would say at the end, I wasn't. I love Millie. Is it Millie Gibson? I think she's been absolutely astounding, and 73 Yards is a greatest hits of that young actor's career. That is astounding. I think she's amazing. But I just thought the way she was acting that last scene where she decides to stay, but also she looks a bit pissed off at the doctor, and I was a bit confused by that. If she just went,
she's back next year.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
but what I'm
so-
saying is, thought that was the only thing that baffled me. I think it was just a bit confusing.
I don't quite get it myself, to be honest.
And the Dobster, the Anita Dobson in Christmassy garb, so presumably she's going to be in the Christmas episode, which
Okay,
I
we're
hope.
definitely moving on now to Joe gets it wrong simply because Joe's brought up these subjects. Okay, so you're talking about Mrs. Flood's wardrobe. It's the same as Clara's, and the Christmassy one is Romana 1 from the Rebus operation. And like I say, her travel case is all these different places that we're familiar with. So, come on then. Who is Mrs. Flood, everyone?
She's Angie. She owns that sword. Bard. Yeah, Bard. I don't know. I mean, I think some, there was aspects of character, with Susan Twist where I thought she was a Time Lord with a fob watch, and I did ponder that about Flood early on, because that moment in the first episode or whatever it was, where she's introduced and where Ruby runs into the TARDIS. Mrs. Flood knows that TARDIS. She's encouraging her to run. She's not frightened. And she goes, go on, and obviously the enigmatic bit at the end as well.
Reveal season.
She's knowing.
I got 3 options for it.
Oh, please, yes.
1, she's the Clara that ran off with me.
So still, but how has she aged? How has she changed? Because she was frozen in time, essentially.
Who's to say that's her real appearance?
Perception filter? Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Or to coin a phrase, wibbly wobbly.
No.
2, she's one of the Guardians.
Destroyed. The toy maker took him out.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Did you see the bodies?
Would the toy maker lie about things like that?
Yes.
He was boasting.
Yeah. He kind of
I
would.
think the Guardians are gone.
On the other hand, we thought Sutek was dead. So, actually, the reference to a soap opera where characters who were dead come back.
I'll be Ewing in the shower all over again.
Exactly.
I don't think I can handle it.
I'm going with the X-Files answer. Unless you see a body, it never happened.
Well, what I forgot to say was I would literally say it's happening because Russell T Davis says it's happening.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can create this world and I can do what I want. It's happening, so anything's possible.
Okay, my own theory. There's a load of fourth wall breaks. She
Yes.
started them off, but the Doctor has done them as well. So, that and the fact she's cosplaying, which she is doing, I'm wondering if she's either... It's got something either to do with the land of fiction, or she's god of stories.
Entirely
tough.
possible.
And I
Oh,
think
God.
it would be nice if she was something new, rather than a callback to something old.
I'm still thinking it's a alternate timeline.
Joe, please.
Saying God of Pub Landlords. Sorry, EastEnders.
Get out, you bard! Oh, I didn't need to. I need my crisps. After what you did to Gary. Sorry, wrong pub landlord.
Cheese on the blink all over. Sorry.
Go
Well,
on, Prof.
you
You
know-
remember you want to hold a pound on that? Sorry.
We also haven't resolved
Ah.
all the slight weirdness that's going on with reality.
Yeah.
Well, we know that reality's screwed at the moment. We've said this. Things are not making sense, which is a great let out for the writers. But
And perhaps they will just choose not to resolve that, and that's fair enough. I've got enough emotional resolution in this episode that I'm sort of willing to let it be.
Mhm.
But since we've had the fourth wall breaks, since we've had the acknowledgement of the salt and the bringing in other things, but also I would like to see her be something new. We've had
it would be
a
nice,
comeback of
wouldn't
an
it?
old character.
The fairy string thing. There seems to be a folklore, gods, and all that. It seems to be all in that direction. Folklore.
yeah, it's a deliberate choice on the part of Russell T Davies. Ever since the sprinkling of the salt, suddenly the universe is no longer rational.
Mm-hmm. And
Which is
Kate
why I'm
said-
saying it's an alternate timeline.
It's an interesting
So-
point.
the idea of knowing there's an audience and knowing that things are being watched, and even her lines to Cherry of like, I had such plans, I didn't want it to end this way, could be taken as like a storyteller kind of thing, or the acknowledgement that there is an ending, or she has an ending in mind, and this
Yeah.
isn't the ending she wanted, is interesting. I'm interested to see where it's going. I agree that it was a bit rushed, this
Well,
episode.
yeah.
And perhaps
The-
be another member of the Pantheon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They've got stories. The RTD has said that basically, to be honest, you need to take the first two seasons as a whole season. He's spreading some of the
We
stories
could have
out.
just made 16 episodes in a season.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
exactly.
and all, that's making assumption. Diehard fans that have patience will stick with it. But please, you want to also encourage new fans. You don't want to say you have to be locked in, because some people go, actually, no, I'm not going to be locked. Don't tell me that I have to be locked in. Enjoy the ride as it's happening, kind of thing. And I don't know. I think I hope Russell T and Stephen Moffat, incredibly talented people, but Moffat was a bit too fanboy, kind of, well, you have to watch this episode and this time, and you've got to do your homework in order to understand it all.
Time
And I
out,
just
time out, time out. Same voice, please, but with a Scottish accent.
Oh God, no.
Because that
So, and I-
was a good voice.
And I think they are incredibly gifted, but I just think that's great if you're already enticed. People, you've already won over the people to an extent. I know the Doctor Who or any fandom is mixed of people who go, "I will never watch it again," and those. that love-
This is one thing that's really bugged me about this episode. It wasn't a great episode. The ending, like you say, Brian, made no sense whatsoever. Even if you don't think about it, it makes no sense. But the negativity that came on social media. I mean, if you enjoy an episode, you stop enjoying it because everybody's so down. Really hate social media for that. I've got tired
This
of reading things like that,
this
which is
could be
ironic because we're doing
my-
it now.
Yeah, but this could be my circle. The ones that I get exposed to. But what I have seen from fans who've been really negative, about this episode, about a lot of this season, is that the ones they did like were the depressing episodes. And that's fine. I don't like those are good episodes. But I don't want a whole season of depressing
Doctor
episodes.
Who fans always want dark and gritty.
Yeah, I don't want dark and gritty. That's why I
not
like
Doctor Who. Though, if you look at the first
like my
season.
mom. I sat down and watched with my mom. We watched the Christmas episode, the 3 specials, and the Christmas episode at Christmas.
Oh, wonderful!
And then we watched when I was up there last weekend. We watched the first 2, and she loved them.
Brilliant. I mean, I love Space Babies.
And she's not connected into it like we as a family like Doctor Who, but she's not connected into any other.
She's doing it
fan
her own
spaces.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's the one who got me into Doctor Who. 'cause she
She's the
watched
person
Claire in the
that
70s.
she's the sort of person we need to listen to rather than fans.
And she loved it. She loved Space Babies. She did get she was like, "Oh, this is a comment on." She got that. They did kind of deliver it with a hammer, that message.
I actually thought it was quite subtle.
Got it.
But,
A hammer.
I thought it was quite subtle. It wasn't lingered on. It was just yeah, right.
She loved that one. And she loved the musical one.
So did I.
She thought it was
I'm going to
fantastic.
meet your mother at some stage. We're going to get on.
It's really interesting. And then we didn't watch the other one because it was Father's Day and my dad was walking in, and I thought maybe Boom isn't the episode for right this minute.
No.
but,
Especially if
I
he's
did
in the
tell her-
Nam.
Well, he was in the war. Well, not that war, but he was in a war.
I was in the
And
war.
yeah, maybe not. So anyway, I told her she has to go back and watch them in order, but she
And you do what
enjoyed.
Elizabeth says.
Well, because it doesn't.
You assigned your mom homework
Can I
did.
ask a question?
over the
Do you
summer.
boss your mum around as well, or is she still able to boss you around?
She does her best to boss me around. But I do tell my siblings, look, at some point around 1986, Mom said I was in charge, and she never rescinded that.
Oh man.
Now,
Okay.
don't listen to me.
Joe, have you got any thoughts about who Mrs. Flood might be?
I really don't know. I mean, I joke. Obviously, she's an Ange. I don't know because I think I don't know, or obviously fans like yourselves who actually have good memories about past characters, might get clues. I did see something about the outfit looking very similar to Clara, although slightly different colour. But I think what chimed with me was actually her saying "clever boy."
Yep.
Thought that was more, this is interesting. So I don't know. I think at this point, just because of that line, perhaps Clara related character, either Clara herself or one of the Claras that was in the timeline, but she got
Yes.
stuck,
Yep.
aged.
Yep. No, that's not a bad idea.
uh,
And it's gone.
as of 2024, age timeline from the
That's the
60s.
point.
One that was running down the corridors in the 60s get up, she would be that age now. She would be 75 or thereabouts. So
Okay.
I want the Doctor to go back and meet Sherry Sunday back in the 70s.
I love
And have great 70s outfits.
Exactly.
That's
That's
going to happen.
cool.
That'll happen next year. They've got to go 70s for season 2.
All's all over the place, and she
Mhm.
froze again.
Yeah, I was about
Really
to say
big
they've
hair.
really got to go to the 70s next year because the
Well,
fashion
I
they
like
come
the
out
fact
with.
that with the Disney money, they're actually doing wardrobe changes.
No, it's got nothing to do with the Disney money. The Doctor never really did full-on wardrobe changes. It's Shooty himself. That's the
I
closest.
hope so.
This is the Doctor enjoying traveling, enjoying being
Exactly.
in these places
Yeah,
and
did you
wearing outfits and doing wigs and just having fun with it.
Did you see the look on Mel's face when she saw the jacket?
yeah. It's
She
cool.
loved it.
Mrs. Murder.
Yeah.
Mel was a vegetarian.
Everything
just-
kills.
But repurposing something from the 60s or 70s, I think, is better than buying a new.
Right. that is it.
Time is tight. Can I just briefly, or are you going to do a bit about the series as a whole?
No, we're not. But if you want to say something,
Oh no, I just wanted to say, Millie Gibson. Well, Shooty is lovely. I really enjoy watching him. I think they've got to be a little bit careful of not having him cry too much. Not because I don't, I have got. I think it's great to show men and of society where men are most cultures don't cry, you're not meant to. I think it's great for mental health and men's mental health to have that shown, but what I'm saying is impact wise, having him shout will have less impact. If he shouts with passion and drama, it's going to be less passionate and dramatic because he did that last week or he did that 2 weeks before. So I think they should just be a little bit mindful, but I think he's also going through a state of flux because it's a bi-generation. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's more mixed up, I don't know, but I really love him.
He spent a long time living with humans. The
yeah,
David
but
Tennant thing.
Yeah, but I accepted him as the Doctor far quicker than I assumed, not because of anything that some evil, nasty people might say. It was purely that, I just don't know. I hadn't seen him do other things. I knew, but I trusted Russell T that he gets people, he casts people really well. So I had faith that he's not going to be crap, but he's actually joyful to watch. So I really love him. And Millie Gibson, I mean, she is astounding, and I, especially for 73 yards, seeing this character age, seeing her being confident, I absolutely thought she was brilliant. Standout episodes, The Devil's Cord, I love. Was it Jinx Monsoon? I wasn't sure when I'd seen the photos. I thought they're going to make, when you get an idea of a type of monster character she might be, and I thought it was so nuanced. I can't wait to see that character come back because I thought the actor, they performed that character so well.
And we've gone again.
Was the actor who played Lindy, the monster in
Pepper Bean,
Dawson?
yes.
Didn't get the racist element straight away. It was only watching the
So glad it's not
extra.
me.
Now, yes, there is white privilege coming in there, but actually, I also think it's because, please bear with me. She was talking to both the Doctor and Ruby. They were both in front of her. One of them's of colour and one of them is not. One of them matches her look, blonde, white, good looking. And I think if all it would have taken is if Ruby had went away to help somebody pack something and it was just a Lindy and the Doctor, I think it would have been much more definite. Mm-hmm. I've watched the episode again, and yes, you see these little breadcrumbs of her behaviour towards him, but I disagree with Russell T that it was obvious. I grew up in London, I grew up in schools, I've got close friends of colour and different backgrounds. I will never know what their life is like because I'm white, and I've never had to encounter what they've been through. So I understand that I will never quite understand that. But I just feel Russell T saying it's obvious, or having that view that it's obvious, I think it was a little bit unfair on those of us who are not racist. I was still reeling from what she did to Ricky.
Yeah.
So yeah. I was like, oh my God, she's the real monster. Those tentacle things are lovely by comparison to her. So I'm still reeling. So I didn't pick up on that. And again, if it wasn't quite so rushed, slow that piece down, it would have hit the beat. I
for heaven's sakes,
think Russell T thinks it landed personally, but I'm willing to also accept you have white privilege, and I will never understand what it's like to live. It's a bit like trying to expect. Well, I know I will never quite understand. I only know that through my friends and what they tell me, who are of colour and experience, the awfulness that they sometimes experience. So I'm willing to. That's how I feel on it. But I thought it was brilliant. The comment from Wynne. He said, Ricky September, whilst in the bubble, was doing the Buffalo Bill dance from Silence of the Lambs. Very distracting. Now, I have not seen Silence of the Lambs, but apparently that was
he totally was.
I
But
didn't
Don
realise, but yes.
Dot and Bubble is
Now all I
brilliant.
can see is Jay and Silent Bob reenacting that. Yeah.
Um,
No,
oh,
he was totally doing the Buffalo Bill dance.
So the standout episodes for me: Devil's Cord, 73 Yards, Dot and Bubble. But again, it was a bit Black Mirror, which is not a bad thing. It's just that was the tone. I quite enjoyed Rogue. I wasn't sure at the start. I haven't watched what you call it, the show. It's
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton, no,
Bridgerton.
as I mean, I didn't get it at all. A little bit had to explain it to me last time round.
Though I haven't seen it, I'm very well aware of it, so nothing was lost on me. So I kind of, it was a bit of enjoyable. And is it India or Indra, ex-Torchwood actress?
Yes.
I
Keep grilling
love
Suji.
I love her, and I loved how she dropped her accent, so she was being all posh, and then she'd say, "All right, love," and I just found her. I could watch her all day. She was just so chewing up the scenery, and
In the owl makeup.
I quite like the makeup. I thought it was pretty cool. Sorry,
It was awesome. I loved it.
But yeah, Millie Gibson and Ncuti Gatwa are lovely to watch, and yeah, he cast well. Casting did well.
Sandy Pryor for you. Okay. Right. In the fortnight's time, we do not have Thacker Gaming next Saturday because I'm in Cambridge doing the Douglas Adams tour.
We're taking the month of June off.
By the way,
that
Joe,
because
you and Winner,
Universe-
it's a Tim Drury tour, so you're more than welcome to come along.
Dogs. We're dog people now.
I'm sure they have dogs in Cambridge.
Yes, you
No,
have
but,
to
you know,
adapt
Willow-
everything to them.
no. Willow is yeah, she's very reactive, and
I
yeah.
know. Okay, so there's no Thacker Gaming next week, so it'll be a fortnight after next week. Consider this our summer break, and we did leave it on quite a cliffhanger, to be fair.
we left it on a big cliffhanger.
Yeah. So that's good, just nicely timed.
Yeah.
So the next thing is the Flash and Blade again in 2 weeks' time. Where? Oh, I gotta come up with a Doctor Who story. Well, hang on, we're going to be doing the Tomorrow People, the Rift of Time, I think, or Time, whatever the hell it's called. The one with the Romans.
Ollerton.
Were you all right for Sapphire and
Time.
Steel?
Oh, we should be.
Okay. All right. So there'll be, I think, the fourth Sapphire and Steel audio with the first box set. We're only going to do the one box set, by the way. It's going to take too long. There's other stuff I want to look at coming out. I don't like listening to audios, as I was saying to Brian earlier, but I make an exception for Big Finish. It's like not listening to podcasts, but I'll make an exception for Toby Haydock. Oh, by the way, Retta, I'm going to stay as a penguin. Kavak. Okay. As for the Doctor Who, we can look at a Doctor Who story, haven't we?
Well, are there any set in Rome that would sort of work with the Romans?
Yes. We're going to look at The Romans. Season 2.
Okay.
Of original Doctor Who. It's black and white, Brian. I'm sorry, Brian. It's black and white.
That's fine. I'm just gonna watch the Pandorica.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
Yeah, but we don't really tend to look at New Who on here. It's
That's
British
The invasion
archive
of the
television.
Italian, the hot Italian.
Right now, that's an archive. Think how long ago it was.
Sean, can I just say Logopolitan?
Hey! That's how quiet she was before she said that. She was practicing.
I said it earlier. Nobody heard me.
Oh, I thought I found that. It must be on a hard drive somewhere. If I can find it, I'll put it up somewhere. The Reduced Logopolis. Oh, it was so much fun to do. It really was. It wasn't brilliant, but we enjoyed it. All down from memory. Jesus. Yeah, Brian, what are you up to over the next fortnight? Anything good?
Work, planning out the new campaign.
Okay, good.
You still need to.
Work out the
Work on
character,
your
but you did
character.
say we've got plenty of time, so
You do have plenty of
Yeah.
time.
it is tickling over in there. Currently, it's being replaced by music for Sinister, but it's
That's
still tickling.
fine. Hey, be a music major.
I know what I want to do, so
Oh God.
yep. Hey, je suis composer. possibly. Little bit, 2 weeks holiday.
Today, I'm also continuing the cleaning out the house.
Why do you not surprise me, Retta?
I think you have a figurine in the mail on its way to you.
Jane Cobb with his mama's
Yes.
hat and Vera.
With his hat.
If that doesn't remind me of Dave, I don't know what will. That's why I chose it.
All
Yes.
I'm saying is, a man walks down the street wearing a hat like that.
He ain't afraid
He
of
ain't
no one.
afraid of anything.
So I'm slowly working. I organized DVDs this morning, putting them in. Well, they were already in alphabetical order, which was Dave's thing. Because prior to him, I kept my DVDs in feelings order.
Okay.
In the idea
Yeah, you
of
are going to have to sort of explain that one a little. I'm sorry.
in genre order, but when you go to watch a movie, you ask yourself, what do I feel like watching?
Okay. So
Right?
we're not going down
So I had it
QAnon,
in
but
like, oh, I feel like a comedy, or I feel like a romance, or I feel
Feel like a
action.
horror movie.
I never do
you
that.
look
but
like one as
sure.
well.
that makes sense actually.
That's how
It
I
does,
had it.
Mum.
I'll be
yeah.
haunting you tonight. Yeah.
Dave had an alphabetical order by title, because, and I did ask him about it. Because I'm like, I never feel like going. What do I feel like watching? Something that starts with a B. You know?
Yeah.
But he has too many, and it was hard to find if they weren't in alphabetical order, which is fair enough. So there were a whole bunch stacked all over the place that weren't on the shelves. So I did clearing off of shelves and finding things and putting them away. So I'm slowly, while I have the energy and the enthusiasm and the brain space and the emotional capacity and everything else, slowly starting to make organizational indents in things I haven't touched in 3 years. And slowly like organizing. So that's going to be a lot of that. And also I spent all of last weekend with my family, which was lovely, and I enjoyed it. And then my nephew came home with me, which I enjoyed. It was lovely spending time with him, but I kind of hadn't planned to have him here. My sister was like, so which of my children are going home with you?
Yeah.
Which one can hunt for their own food?
Well, I don't know. 2 of them are vaguely feral. They're
Joe-
lovely children, and I love them, but
Hey,
Joe, what are you up to in the next fortnight?
No, but just make sure you be kind to yourself as well, because sort of sorting out stuff.
And like I say, don't get rid of everything. You'll regret
oh
it.
no. There is no chance of my getting rid of anything or everything. There is commingled stuff and nerdy stuff everywhere.
will it be something like, oh, I remember this video, put it to and watches the DVD.
There's a certain amount of that. There's also a
Yeah.
certain amount of, oh, this book, let me sit down and look at it, which is really good. But I am taking breaks. I'm being kind. The closet took me almost 2 weeks.
I was, not just physically but emotional. So
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it's a challenge. And it's the sort of thing where before this summer I would just like pick up the box, look at it, and go put it back. And now I have the capacity to actually either make a decision about it or acknowledge that I'm not ready to make a decision about it and
Okay.
put it to the
Fair enough.
side. But
That's good.
like right in
You
front
do
of
you.
me,
There's no right or wrong way of doing it.
right in front of me is so there's no shortage of, and this is next to the TARDIS cookie jar.
It's a lovely
So
big
there's
mug.
Well, what kind of cookies are in the TARDIS cookie jar?
Well, nothing at the moment. I had a nephew here.
Joe, what are you up to over the next fortnight?
Hospital tomorrow. Tests that I've been wanting to have done for the last year.
Okay.
Job applications, probably dog wrangling, and
Voting.
Oh yeah, God, that is within next year. Definitely voting. Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah. And just trying to have action adventure and real wild things as
Cool.
Zaphod Blue Box. But
Cool.
probably just having a dull, hopefully uneventful life, really.
Well, I hope that the tests go the way you want them
Yes.
to go,
Quite so.
and that the job applications all go very well. If you need somebody to proofread, you're welcome to head something my way.
That might
You
be
use
a-
American English, dear. Joe does the proper stuff.
I can put on my UK.
I have a better offer. If you need someone to lie about references, I
check those sorts of things.
Joe wants America. She was at NASA. That's great. So yeah, thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
Elizabeth,
no problem.
she's intelligent. Like I would trust Elizabeth to proofread. Yeah, man.
yeah.
Cool.
What am I up to?
Well, it was my job in college. It's how I
There's a
did.
skill definitely.
So not what we've all been saying, how you put yourself through college, then. It was actually a proofreading job. I'm going to have to let
Well.
people know.
There are
Look,
overlaps.
she was young and she needed the
I
money
know.
for college.
I mean, I used to have to go down and, do favours for sailors. So
You know,
Let's
Can I-
say
the pictures.
proofreading does not pay
I
as
didn't even
well.
have to go to college. So
Can I just say? Can I just say also going to things that don't pay much because of my art business that doesn't pay, and I'm having. This is why I'm looking for going back to the ordinary black and white world of working. Anyone who wants commission
Joe,
me
I had
for
no
art-
idea you'd actually gone art business. I didn't know.
thanks for- and share it's pinned on my Facebook. Yeah, so it's Fetch a Sketch Pet Portraits, spelt in a very cute way. Yeah, pause is in portrait. But yeah, it's but yeah, pet portraits. But I'll do any commission really. But
you do character commissions.
I haven't done any, but it depends what people want really. But I draw from images, so and it's good old fashioned charcoal. I have done a little bit of digital, but it's not really my bag. So I've done watercolors, charcoal, the non AI stuff that
I'll leave
somebody
you
else.
to discuss it either on Facebook or on here, I think.
Basically,
Yeah. She and I are thinking the same.
Yeah, I
line,
know what
believe.
Brian's up to. Yeah.
But going back to it, it's old school art. So yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful. Your work is beautiful. I've got the 2 portraits up on my wall.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm
But
finishing
I'll be-
off. Sorry, go on.
So it's just saying it was lovely to see Rosie for real walk past earlier. So.
Yes, she normally
Yes,
steals
I
the
fed
show
her a full dinner,
every
so
single
she's-
show. I've
she's
made
got
a
to
start
have a
of
nap.
clearing out the house.
Yes,
For what I
good for
lose.
you.
Yes.
Got a new car
Have you
coming in
found
a
a
week's
place
time.
yet?
No, but Adam and I are going window shopping on Wednesday. Haven't got the money yet, but
Nothing wrong with window shopping.
Not so.
Do they have open houses over there?
I don't know. But the thing
Like,
is,
I
I
don't-
don't have a timeline. I don't have a time scale yet, so
Doesn't
I
matter.
don't know
You
when
can
I'll
still
have the
walk
money.
in and say, "Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that."
That would
I
mean
don't
going
like
all the
that."
way up to Derby just to do that.
Yeah. So
It's a whole different sense of scale in America.
tell me
isn't
about
it?
your busy schedule.
It's not so much the busy schedule; it's how much it costs. It's
You drive the car up,
it's about a 3.5 hour drive up there, unless
start
it
early in
was
the
like
morning.
Hooverville
8 o'clock,
last
you get
year,
there around noon, have a little nosh for lunch,
and
and
it
a
took
couple
us
hours.
7
Leave at
hours.
5, get home by 8.
Yeah, it doesn't go that smoothly, I'm afraid. I think when I go up there, I'm going to have to actually do it, at least stay one night. So, because, yeah, we're going to be doing it. We're doing Hooverville in one day. September the 15th, or was it the 4th? I can't remember.
It's a one-day con.
Yeah. I need to actually get the date out for you so you know for the RPG if I'll be there or not. I don't know which sort of a weekend it is.
I'm still determined to do a live session at some point in time. Somehow. With all of us.
Yeah, I know. Physical dice. That would be lovely.
No, we'll still use Foundry, but
No, we
we'll all be in the
fucking won't.
same room doing it. Because I'm not calculating all that.
So, next show. Doctor Who and the Romans.
I did just check. It is on BritBox.
Thank God.
I got
Tomorrow
rid of
People.
BritBox.
And Sapphire and Steel. It's also on the iPlayer. You know what to do. Joe, thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for inviting me. It's very, very nice to join in, and yeah, it was lovely.
Hope it wasn't too traumatic.
Awesome. I was nervous. I was, oh my god, I forgot how to talk.
No, yeah, there were some very
Yes,
good
Joe.
points made tonight, people. I'm very grateful to you all. But Joe, thank you so much. It is a one-off for the moment. We might ask you back for the 200th.
Can I just say, I'm a watcher. Sorry, on Picard, when what's his name came back and actually said he was a watcher, all I could hear was, "Hello, I'm a
The
watcher."
I mean, what a bloody task! I give you a line
Oh,
like
God,
that
I would love to see Will Wheaton
for a
as member of the
character that did
Pantheon.
not, for a character that didn't speak in the show. So you just had to come up with. It just stood there. It's kind of, hello.
I love doing it. Hello, I'm part of the United Kingdom International Task Force of the Watchers. I watch. Okay, bye.
Oh, right, we've got to go because my head is splitting. Thank you all very much. A very good show tonight. I'm very grateful to you. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And I suppose we're going to have to say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Here we go then.
You've got to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more. And life and love and happiness are well worth fighting for. They're well worth fighting for.
The role of Colonel Ibrahim was played by John Levine. Space Goat.